Woohoo! Hey everybody, it's Dave with DII. Welcome to our Saturday handpan class. We're trying a new setup today, by the way. I've got a different camera system and everything like that. So it'll be interesting to see how it all works out. Like right now, I'm hearing my voice on this other camera. So I'm going to turn that down if I can. Odd. I don't know if it's still there or not. All right, cool. So figure that one out. Thanks for being here. Like I said, I'm Dave with DII. We put on these classes like we have here at DII for ages, for at least a year or more. And a lot of people really enjoy it. When we used to have the store open, people would come right into us and come and take our class, and we would be able to hobnob and say hello and hug and all that sort of fun stuff, and get instruction on for people that are really interested in handpans, and get some attention that's right on the instrument, and they can actually touch it, feel it, play it for the very first time, or get some extra added help if they needed some help and they already had one. So this is what we're doing now with this whole COVID-19 adventure. Is we now. Oh, cool. Hi, Victoria and Michael. Cool. Yeah. So. Oh, yeah. Daniel just told me that Victoria and Michael are watching. So, hello, everybody. So now we have it online, and we're trying to do the same thing. We're trying to help mostly beginners getting started with the handpan, learn how to play it, to touch it, to feel it, to learn where the notes are, learn more about the parts and that sort of thing. So we typically go over some of the basics on this class. So if you're here for the basics, you're going to probably hear me go over them again, but that's okay. A lot of times, sometimes you hear something new, and you never know what you're going to pick up the second time around. So feel free to just continue watching. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments section. Daniel's in the background monitoring the comments. So if you have a comment, he'll let me know in my little headpiece here, and I will be able to hopefully answer your questions. So feel free to answer or ask questions anytime. The weather in New Hampshire is fine. Okay. Excellent. Cool. That's good. All right. So, Daniel, by the way, Daniel, are you there? Do you have any? All right.
Bring myself in. I'm here.
All right, Daniel.
Yes.
We've got Daniel here with us. Let's see if he comes on screen.
Oh, you want me to bring a screen? Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Bring it on. There he is. There's
Bam.
Daniel. All right. How's it going, Daniel?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing just fine.
How's the store
So-
over there?
Oh, it's empty.
Yeah.
There's nobody
Except
here
for
but me.
handpans.
Yeah, except for handpans, yeah. So Daniel, so we were talking before about this event that's coming up in September.
Oh,
in a few weeks.
yes.
So tell me what you're thinking.
You know what? There's some, September is the 10th anniversary month.
That's right.
For Dave's Island Instruments. So we've been talking about, what are we going to do for our customers? You guys out there that have been watching, actually are great clients and customers and giving us advice and, things like that. So, we want to reward that. So there's probably going to be some deals on handpans and ukuleles. I'm redoing the ukulele site. You guys know I'm the ukulele teacher. Yes. So I've been,
now we do.
yep,
We
and
didn't
we're
before.
working with Ohana on that too. So, I know in this time of COVID, last year we had an event at our store, but of course we want to do a live event. So actually, an idea just came to my head. Maybe our clients can all play something and then we can post it for our 10th
Oh yeah, that'd
anniversary.
be fun.
That'd be kind of
Yeah,
awesome, and I could just put it all
yeah.
together. I'll make a cool video. Actually, that'd be cool. I'll send out an email if you guys want to play something, send me a video or send Dave a video, and then I can put that together for the 10th anniversary. I think that'd be
Yeah,
really
that'd be
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
Send us a link, whatever it is, info@davesislandinstruments.com.
yeah.
Yeah, if anybody out there wants to make a video of themselves playing on a DIY handpan, that'd be awesome. A little compilation video together.
Right.
Yeah. So
Even
yeah. So
we have our rental customers. We have our regular customers out there. They can all do something. It's pretty cool.
absolutely. So yeah, we're all excited. It's 10 years this year, 10-year anniversary for DII. We've been making handpans for 10 years and selling them here out of the store in Lakewood, California. So we're really proud of that, and hopefully we can create something, an event for people to join in and celebrate with us. So that's coming up in a couple weeks. I think it's mid-September, late September when we're going to be doing that.
Right,
So just
right.
keep your eyes out for notifications and that sort of thing. And you can always get more information if you go to our website. Go to the homepage. Down at the bottom of the homepage, I believe there's a little login for our newsletter, or a little button for the newsletter. Click the newsletter button and you get onto our email list and notifications. And also you can go to Facebook and like us on Facebook. We do all sorts of postings on Facebook that you can keep track of
Yeah,
what we're doing here at DIY.
I just put our website on the screen. So.
Oh, and there, Daniel put it on screen too. So www.davesislandinstruments.com.
We got some
All
technology
right.
here.
Yeah. All right, Daniel. Is there anything else before I get started here?
Not just the 10th anniversary. We do have some. We're like really tight on handpans right now. I know Dave's been working hard to get them done, but we do have some Auris and Lunas available. So, if you guys are planning on getting a handpan, you haven't got one of your own, give us a call. We could do a virtual appointment, or you can actually come in. So, and here is Dave.
All right, I'm back. Okay.
All right, hold on. Let me get rid of me.
It's all right. All right, so here we go. So this is the handpan. A lot of you are already familiar with handpans. Either you just purchased one, or you're considering purchasing one, or you've rented one from us. Any variety of reasons you've already become accustomed to them. Some people watching have not really been introduced to a handpan before, or they're considering buying one, but they've never really had an opportunity to look at it in detail up close, that sort of thing. So this is an Auris handpan. We've got different models of handpans here at DII. We have basically four models now. We've got a Luna satin handpan, which is a great one. It's got kind of like a satin finish on it. We've got a Luna Clarity, which has more of a clear, glossy finish on it. And both of those are 20-inch diameter size handpans. And then we also have this Auris right here. Auris, A-U-R-O-U-S is the way it's spelled. Kind of basically means gold, which it has this gold color. And the Auris is made from stainless steel, so it's slightly different than the other handpans that I mentioned. And it's also 21 inches diameter. And then we're now also offering a 20-inch diameter ohm hybrid handpan. And I'm not sure if you've seen those on our website or on our videos that we've produced. But the ohm hybrid has its handpan on top, and on the bottom shell it has tongues. So it's a tongue drum on the bottom. Handpan on top, tongue drum on the bottom. We've been getting a lot of action and interest on those handpans. They produce a really wonderful, warm, meditative tone that's completely different than anything you've ever heard before. And so people are really fascinated with it, as am I. I think it's a really terrific instrument. So those are our four basic instruments, handpan instruments that we provide. And today I'm going to be talking or demonstrating on this Auris here, the Auris stainless steel handpan. And it's a lovely instrument. It has lots of excellent warm sustain. And so you're going to hear that as we go. So here's some basics about the handpan. I don't know, Daniel, do you have that little sheet that you post on for us so that we can take a look at that? See if we can bring that up.
There it is.
There it is, the handpan basics page. So you'll see that handpans come in different scales. However, here at DII, we've basically narrowed it down to the sunset scale. And we really like the sunset scale. It's an excellent template for getting started quickly. It's also a very excellent handpan just for playing in general. Even if you've already become accustomed to handpans, it's a really warm sounding instrument. It has a lot of options where you don't feel like you're tied in, or you don't feel like you're playing the same thing over and over again. You have lots of options. Certain scales, sometimes you feel like you're tied into a certain feel or sound, and it's hard to escape that. But the sunset scale it's a D minor scale, and it has a really nice open feel to it, sound to it, and it's almost like you have endless ideas that you can play and enjoy. So we have the sunset scale on all of our instruments as like the standard scale. The RS has 9 notes total: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. On the other handpans, there's 8. So it goes up to the A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and stops on the A. Now on the bottom shell, we've also been adding some notes here. So on this one, you'll notice that we've got some bottom notes, 3 bottom notes on this one. So we now call this the RS12 because it has 9 on top and 3 on the bottom, so that's 12 total. We have a Luna Clarity model that we call the Luna 11, and that one has 11 notes total, 8 on top and 3 on the bottom, which makes 11. So again, I like to be consistent, not only for learning reasons with people, but our customers, but production also helps me consistent. But also, I'm absolutely sure that these notes are going to sound good. So when we produce these, we're really confident that everything's going to sound just right. So on the bottom of this handpan here, we've got a, let's see, F, G, and a B natural. On these Clarity 11s, we have an F, G, and a B flat. So the only reason there's a difference between the B natural and the B flat is because the the diameter is different. So on the 21-inch RS diameter, the B flat sounds a little bit funky, so we made a B natural. Whereas on the 20-inch diameter, the B natural sounds a little funky, so we make it a B flat. Either way, it's a really great sounding instrument, and those bottom notes give you a lot of options for extending what you can already learn on the top shell. So the top shell notes are what we're pretty much going to be concentrating on today, because that's your primary playing area. And then I can kind of throw in a couple things later on and show you how I incorporate some of the bottom notes with my playing on top. All right, so here we go, handpan. It's basically made of 2 metal shells. So it looks like a flying saucer, but there's a top shell and a bottom shell. And the bottom shell also has this hole in it. It's called the GU hole, G-U. It produces a bass tone, and it's also an access place for when we tune the instrument with our hammers. These are all handmade and hand-tuned, and so the tuner, myself, needs to get in there and use my hammer to tune the notes to get them refined and fine-tuned for the customer. So top shell, bottom shell. We've got a rim here. This little rubber ring is on the rim. Underneath the rubber ring, if you take it off, it's just 2 rims that are glued together. We use glue. We don't weld it. It's glued together. You've got a big note in the center, and this is called the ding note, D-I-N-G. You might have seen different various handpan videos. Sometimes people are putting ding notes off to the side. Sometimes they're putting them all over the place. But traditionally, the ding note goes in the center, and it's the lowest sounding note. So in this case, it's a D. Then around the perimeter of the handpan, you've got the tone field notes. So we've got tone field notes here. Some people just call them tone fields. Some people call them notes. Like I frequently just call them notes. So throughout this video, you might just hear me say the note here or the note there, and then that's what I'm referring to. So tone field notes. In the middle of each of these tone field notes, you see that it has this little indentation. That indentation is called a dimple. And really, the ding note here, this top, the silver part here, is also a dimple. It's just facing upward and outward rather than downward and inward. So it's the same kind of basic principle. Those dimples basically help to control the sound of the handpan notes. It makes them a little bit warmer. So, for instance, a steel drum from the Caribbean has a brighter sound, and usually play with a mallet too, but has a brighter sound, and part of the reason it's bright is because there's no dimple. So the dimples were developed to kind of reduce that brightness. And that's one thing that really gives the handpan its really warm, mellow sound is those dimples. So I was telling you earlier about, let me just tell you about the metal between the notes. So we talked about the notes. We've got the ding note. We've got the tone field notes. There's metal between all of these notes. So you'll see like a little note here, a note here, a note here, a note here. But between that is metal that does not have a specific pitch tuned to it. So we call this the interstitial metal. Interstitial, inter like between, stitial, I don't know. Interstitial metal is the metal between the notes. And you can use that metal, and sometimes I call it the dead space because this has a dead sound or a muted sound. That metal can be used as a place where you can play percussive sounds like that. Kind of like a drum beat, backbeat kind of thing. So that's the interstitial metal. And then I was going to tell you again about the scale. So I told you earlier that we have the sunset scale tuned on the top shells of our handpans. So it's D, A, C, D, E, F, G, A, and C. So this is a D minor scale. To be a true D minor scale, it would have a B flat in it. But between the A and the C, there is no B flat. Like I said over here on the bottom scale, bottom note, I did introduce a B natural, right? So it's between those two notes there. But again, it's still not quite perfectly a D minor scale. So if you were playing somebody on guitar or something like that, it wouldn't be exactly the D minor scale, but you don't have to worry about that. It sounds beautiful. So that's the top shell. You know, the sunset scale, we call it sunset scale here at DII, but a lot of people in the handpan world call it Celtic minor. So if you've heard that term thrown around or seen it on videos, that sort of thing, somebody playing D minor Celtic minor, that's the exact same thing as our sunset scale. So if you have a friend that has a Celtic minor, a D Celtic minor handpan, you can play along with them. Or if you have anybody that you know or out there in the YouTube world or whatever you want to do a video with or whatever, that's basically the same scale, and you can play along with each other. Okay, so those are some of the basics about the handpan. I just described the notes with letter names, and so sometimes people that are familiar with music, not a problem, but other people that are not familiar with music sometimes get a little confused. So rather than calling them letter names like I did, like D, A, C, D, E, F, G, A, C, you can also just count them. So I always start in the middle, and it's on the diagram that the handpan basics sheet there. You can just count them from the middle and move on up. So it's D is 1, A is 2, C is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it makes it really easy just to, if you wanted to use the number system, you can do that. So you can say something like play number 1 and 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 1 and 3. 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. That sort of thing. It just kind of makes it easy to understand for those who don't already know a whole lot about music. So we have the number system. We have the alphabetic musical note system that we can use on the handpans, and either one is fine to get started. Just a couple things, like if you were taking care of your handpan, let's say you buy one, you just want to make sure, even if like the stainless steel is corrosion resistant, so it's rust resistant. But if I was to take it to the beach, I still wouldn't want it just to dip it in the water and like be carefree with it too much. Also, the sand and that sort of thing can get on it, and if you wipe it off with a towel or something like that, it could scratch it, kind of like sandpaper. So you just want to be extra careful with your handpan. Just make sure you wipe it off, make sure it's clean and dry after you use it. Or let's say you play and it starts drizzling or raining or something like that. Just make sure that you wipe it off and it's completely dry when you take it home. And when you store it, make sure you don't store it in a case, like in a closet for an extended period of time. So you take it home in the case. Let's say it's raining, or if it's a moist environment like the ocean or beach. When you get home, just kind of open the case a little bit so the air can flow in and out of it. Sometimes with cases or bags, moist air can stay inside of that case or bag and get trapped inside and cause who knows what to happen to the surface of the instrument. A variety of things can happen. You never know, corrosion or scratches or whatever. So just be cautious of how you take care of it. Just make sure it stays dry and clean, And with the handpans here that we make at DII, we really are fans of the finishes that reduce and resist corrosion. So all of our handpans are either coated with something, or like the stainless already has natural properties that kind of keep it from corroding or from getting rust on them. So just a little helpful hint, but you just want to keep them clean either way. All right. I'm going to get into some playing
Dave.
now. Oh, quick comment.
Yeah, quick comment from Michael in New Hampshire.
Uh-huh.
I just wanted to put this out there because I know you're such a great guy. You love to share your knowledge like you are now. But he says, Dave's tuning videos helped me along my journey building handpans. I'm hydroforming blanks today. So
cool.
Just wanted to post that up there and give a shout out to Michael.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, in fact, I occasionally, like I'm making a video right now on how to play the handpan. I also make videos of how to tune them, and you'll see me repairing handpans and that sort of thing. So if you look at our YouTube website, you can see all sorts of varieties of handpan videos that we've done and recorded and promoted on our YouTube site for people like yourselves to check out. So yeah, obviously it's being helpful. So thank you, Michael, for that comment. That's cool. All right, so we're going to get started here with the D minor Celtic, the D minor Sunset scale. One of the basics things that people want to get started with is just learning how to play it. What's the touch? How do you get the sound out of it, the way you get that nice warm sound? So basically, I just use one finger to produce the sound that I want to get. I typically don't use my full hand to play the instrument like that. I've seen some people play it like that, and it's effective for them to some degree. If that's what they're comfortable with, go for it. But typically I teach that you should just use one finger, so maybe your index finger or your middle finger are ideal fingers to play the notes with. So like back here, I found I was playing with my index finger. Mostly my index finger is what I'm using today, but you can use your middle finger. You can also use your thumb. So let me just explain a couple things about how to play the instrument with those fingers. So you want to slap the note in a way where when you strike the note, your finger comes immediately off of the surface of the instrument, like that. So you'll see my finger comes down, it slaps the note, and then it immediately comes off. It's almost like it just hovers above the note. And when it strikes the note, it just comes right off. It's kind of like a fishtail slapping the note. Don't curl your finger. Sometimes people try to like pull at the note like this, and that's more of like a piano technique. So it's not really that piano technique where you have your fingers curled or anything like that, because typically when you pull at the note like this, typically you're muting it because you're pulling at it and you're just slightly touching it for a duration of time, even if it's a split second. So it basically mutes the note. So again, you want to strike it and come off of that note very quickly. I used to have like a little bell, a service bell over here. If you go to a motel or a hotel and go to the front desk, and if there's nobody there, there's sometimes a little bell, a little silver bell on their desk, and you just strike that thing and it goes ding, right? If you take that service bell and do that same motion, it's pretty much the same motion that you would use to play a handpan. So that's the basic way of playing a handpan note. If you want to use your thumbs, it becomes more of a rotary motion like this. Which some people really like playing with their thumbs. I prefer playing with my index finger. But if I wanted to, I could use my thumbs. It produces a slightly different sound. It's like a little bit of has a little more attack to it than the finger. Also, I use a combination of my finger and my thumb when I want to play two notes at a time. So if I want to play the A and the D here, I'm playing the A with my thumb, and I'm playing the D with my index finger. In this case, it's kind of a rotary motion. So I'm twisting my arm like this, almost like throwing my fingers at the note. play these two, look how I moved my body over in this direction. If I want to play these over here, kind of move my body over there. So don't be scared to move your body in and out and around the instrument. It's okay to do that, and it's like it's almost like you're embracing it. So it's fun to watch too as somebody moves their body back and forth. It's very kind of like a performance. So feel free to do that and don't feel inhibited, because it's going to look really awkward if you're trying to play without moving your body. You might be able to do it, but it looks rigid and strange. For the top notes, I usually play with my index finger and my ring finger, like that. Because it makes more sense to go like that than it does to do a strange, awkward position like this. So frequently when you're playing the instrument, if you're trying to do something, try to make it as comfortable as possible for yourself. Another thing I was noticing that I didn't mention before is the orientation of the handpan. And the orientation of the handpan, I've got the highest notes, the smallest notes away from me, and the larger, lowest instrument or notes toward me. This note, since it has 9 notes total, if you look straight through the instrument like this, there's 1, all the even numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8, are on my right-hand side, and all the odd numbers, 3, 5, 7, 9, are on my left-hand side. So you can kind of split it down the center like that. So that's one way you can orient your handpan. So when you first get it, if you played it like this, it can be played like that, which is not really a problem. But if you want to play a scale in an alternating fashion, like left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, it doesn't really produce the scale that you would want to hear, probably. It doesn't move the scale from low to high. So if you want to move the scale from low to high, from lowest note to highest note, and you want to just make it as easy as possible, the easiest method is to use alternating hands, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Actually, on this one, it's going to end on left. And it goes like this. So you're going to start with your left hand on the ding note, right hand goes to the A, left on C, right on D, left on E, right on F, left on G, right on A, left on C. So once again. So I started on my left, finished on my left. So you'll notice I didn't cross my hands over ever. I never went something like this. Right? I didn't cross my hands. Another thing is I didn't start on my right hand and play 2 notes at the same time, or right next to each other. So I didn't play D to A with my right hand. I didn't do a double, or whatever you want to do, a double. So try to make sure that if you're playing these scales just for practice purposes, that you alternate your hands. There are times when you would want to do double strokes, I guess you could call them double hits. But for the most part, try to keep it as much as possible left, right, or right, left, left. So if you're going to take that scale from high back down to low, you can start on that high C on the left hand and then move back down. Also, that is also alternating hands. So left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Now, if you only have the 8 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then you would be starting on your left and ending on your right. Right? Because you don't have that extra 9th note on the top. And if you were to play from high to low, you would start on your right hand and then alternate back and end on your left hand. Right? So that's a really basic scale. That's just playing the scale from high to low, or from low to high and high to low. Another thing I want to describe to you now is playing simple notes together to create harmonies. Like I mentioned just a second ago, this instrument is basically split. The even notes are on the right, the odd notes are on the left. If you were to count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that sort of thing. Interestingly, the even notes all work together to create a nice D minor chord. So everything on the right-hand side of this instrument is a D minor. If you play the notes on the left-hand side, this is basically like a C major or A minor-ish kind of C major, really, here. So that's a C major, with excluding the D. So it's a C major. Over here is D minor. Over here is C major. Now you don't really need to know what the difference between C major and D minor is. What I'm just trying to impress upon you is that you can play nice harmonies on the right side and then scoot on over to the left side to kind of give it some shape and some form, and then play back to the right side and then go back to the left side. And you can just immediately start to make some music out of the instrument if you just use that simple principle. Right? So it almost sounded like I was starting to make a little song or melody just then, and all I was doing is just playing the notes on the right-hand side and then moving to the notes on the left-hand side. There are different options that you can choose to create different chords. It gets a little bit more complicated. I'll just throw some at you real quick. So if I wanted to play an F chord, I would play these notes. Right, so that's an F chord. I'm not going to explain exactly why it's called an F chord, but that's an F chord. So then we got the D minor, F. The F major has a little bit more of a happy sound to it. Like I said, over here we've got the C major. If you play these, it's an A minor. Right? So there's some different options in there that you can play with once you get accustomed with the instrument. And by figuring out these different chords, you can create different moods and different feels of how you want the music to sound. So one thing I suggest that you get away from is a lot of times when people start walking up to the instrument, when they first look at it or first play it, is they have their hands out like this, and then they start playing with the hands together, but on opposite sides of the instrument, like this. And it doesn't really create a whole lot of cool harmonies by doing that. It's an interesting sound. I'm not going to say that it's not an interesting sound, but it's not the most musical sound. So if you want to play two hands at the same time, I suggest playing notes that are next to each other on the right-hand side or next to each other on the left-hand side, or notes that are next to each other on the back, or notes that are next to each other on the front. So you'll notice even here, those create a nice harmony. Even that sounds fine. Over here, that sounds fine. That sounds fine. And then here on the back even. Right? So I'm playing with both of my hands at the same time, but I'm not playing on opposite sides of the instrument. I'm playing basically in the same area of the instrument there. So you'll see how that kind of creates nice harmonies. And the other way of doing it creates a little bit more dissonant sounds. Okay, so I just showed you how to play the scale. I showed you how to play some chord tones, basically. And now I want to show you a little bit about rhythm. This is a rhythm pattern that I've been teaching for a year and a half, whatever it is. Call it the Austin Funk. And it incorporates the ding note and the interstitial metal to create like a bass drum, snare drum sound, like a rock beat. And it goes like this. I'll just give you a sample of it. So that was the whole thing. I'm playing it again now. Okay, so that's all it is. Again, I'm using the interstitial metal here with my right hand, and I'm kind of slapping it with my middle finger. For some reason, I like my middle finger on the slap better than I like my index finger. But you could use your index finger, your middle finger, whichever finger you feel most confident with, or that it feels most comfortable. Even at this point, you could even slap it with your whole hand if you felt like that is the most comfortable for you. I'm hitting things with my hands all the time, so my hands might be accustomed to hitting things like that, and it doesn't really hurt too much. But if you're absolutely brand new to the instrument, it might hurt a little bit initially. But if you just get used to it and play it a lot, your body should kind of make it so it doesn't hurt so much. All right, so on the left hand, we've got the left hand playing the ding. On the right hand, you're slapping the interstitial metal. And that slap, you want to basically push your finger into the metal a little bit. Whereas on the other method of playing the notes, you're slapping the note and coming off of it immediately. With the interstitial metal, it's almost the opposite action. You want to slap it and keep it on the metal to kind of give it a nice, fat, warm sound, like that. Not to say that you can't do it this way. It's just a little bit lighter sounding, and it's not quite as strong. So I like to kind of push my finger into the metal just a little bit. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then stop on the ding just for a second. Okay, so I was using terms like 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's the way I count my rhythms. But if you were just to count how many times I strike the note with each hand, my left hand strikes once, and then my right hand strikes once, then my left hand strikes twice, and then my right hand strikes once. So again, once, once, twice, once, 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 twice, once, 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 twice. So the way I count it is 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I do that, what, 3 times? 1, I stop on the 4th. 2, 3, stop on the 4th here. I usually have beginners lift their hands just so that they know that they're not supposed to play anything, just for a little short period of time, a little rest. And then you're going to play left, right, left hand, right hand, left hand, right hand on the C and the D, which would be 1, 2, 3, 3 and 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, or C, D, C, D. So that pattern sounds like this. And it's going to immediately go back to the original pattern with the left hand. So that's one way to practice that. Left, right, left, right, left. Left, right, left, right, left. Okay? So the whole pattern, 1, 2, 3, stop on 4, left, right, begin again. 2, 3, stop, lift, left, right, left, right. So after you get that pattern comfortable, and you learn the whole thing, you don't have to lift your hands anymore. This is totally something for the beginners, so that they don't play the wrong notes at the wrong time. So ultimately, you just play it looking like this, and your hands just kind of hover above the instrument just a little bit. 2, 3, 4, rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the way that goes. And the cool thing about this beat is, as I'm talking right now to you, you could learn how to do it and talk with your friends. And then they think you're super cool because you're playing an instrument and talking at the same time. Or you can go to your first coffee shop gig one of these days when coffee shops open up again. And this could be your opening song for your set. You can tell people to give you a tip. It's just one of those cool little rhythms where it just kind of flows and moves you along, but it's not super duper difficult where you maybe can't do some poetry, you maybe can't do some talking or whatever. You could even do some singing on that. I'm not like the most stellar singer, but if you wanted to create some kind of song or rap or something like that to go along with this, you could absolutely do that. So that's something fun to play around with. So we had our scale up front, from low to high, high to low. Talked about some chords, how to play back and forth on the instrument. We've given you a little lesson on how to play some rhythms. And you can expand on those rhythms on your own. Let's see. creating songs. A lot of people have some questions about creating songs, like how do I create a song on my handpan? So let me just touch on that real quickly. The way I think about songs is you have to think about it almost like you're writing a paragraph. Make it a simple paragraph. Let's make it a paragraph with 2 sentences. So what you want to do is you want to create the first sentence and then put a period on it, which that's the end of the sentence, right? So let's say you the quick brown fox. The quick brown fox, right? So that maybe will be, and I just chose those notes, by the way, out of the blue. I didn't think about this beforehand or anything. So the quick brown fox, maybe that becomes the beginning of our song. It doesn't have to go over and over again like this. It could, if you wanted to. Maybe that is your song. Maybe it's the first part of your song. That's the way it goes. I'm going to give it some space. Right? So now I've got my little first part of my song, the quick brown fox. And let's see with the next part. Hides in a hole. Hides in a hole. Hides in a hole. So now you've got 2 parts. The quick brown fox. The quick brown fox. Hides in a hole. Hides in a hole. So you'll see that I just chose those notes kind of randomly. My musician brain, yeah, sometimes I think things through before I even realize I'm thinking it through. But now you just have a 2-sentence paragraph, a 2-sentence song, or basically a 2-motif song. So your first motif is that, right? You can play it however many times you want, but what you want to do is just remember what that is. So you can come back to it, right? So the whole idea of a song is you want it to be memorable in a way where people recognize the first part versus the middle part versus the end or whatever. So the first part of the song is memorable. The quick brown fox, right? Hides in a hole. Hides in a hole, I believe. Right? Right? So that's 2 sentences basically. Now, if you want to break it up a little bit, what you want to do is maybe start a different paragraph. Okay, so that was our first paragraph, and maybe the second paragraph is a completely new idea. Okay, so the completely new idea, let's do some rhythm this time, rather than just a regular melodic idea. Let's do back to maybe our rhythm that we just learned with the Austin Funk. Oh, Daniel's playing the native flute. So we can maybe incorporate that. So the quick brown fox, the quick brown fox, hides in a hole, hides in a hole. The quick brown fox, the quick brown fox, hides in a hole, hides in a hole. And now here's your new paragraph. So this is the new idea, to break it all up, right? And you can cruise out on this for a long period of time if you want, or make it a short. And then at some point you want to end it, and then go back to your motifs. So it goes back to your first paragraph. And then back to our second paragraph idea. So you see how that works. So basically when you're coming up with ideas, you want to structure them. And I've never thought about it this way before somehow, but I just presented it to you and I kind of like it. The way I presented it is in paragraph form. So in the first paragraph, you might have 1, 2, or 3 musical ideas. Then you want to create a separate paragraph where it actually has a brand new idea, kind of breaks it up a little bit. And then you can kind of go back to your first paragraph. And that would pretty much give you the elements of a simple song. Other simple things, so like I did that melodically in the beginning, you could do it rhythmically also. So let's just say you were playing something more like this. So that could be your first motif, and then you could do a second sentence that has like a slightly different rhythm or something like that. So there's all varieties of ideas that you can do to come up with that make the instrument exciting and new and fresh. So I just kind of challenge you to get away from just doing scales like up and down. Which, by the way, that's not a problem. You can create. That could be one of your first ideas for one of your songs. But what you also want to do is kind of maybe get away from that a little bit and create a second paragraph where the sounds that you're creating are slightly different. Maybe use rhythm or a different pattern or anything that makes it slightly different. And that's kind of what makes the creativity move along when you're creating these songs, is just telling yourself, do something different. Try something different, like hit the bottom or who knows. So, and just make it unique and different and give it your own little spice. And that's what makes music interesting for all of us to listen to, because everybody comes up with different ideas. So that's some basics. Here's one song that I did that incorporated that scale. And what did I call this one? I can't remember what I called it. Not spirals. But it goes like this. So you can see on that, it was really just working on the scale that we had learned, but I was breaking it up slightly. I wasn't playing it straight up and straight down. I was doing a couple things to break it up a bit. But really, it was just using that basic scale of the handpan. So you can do all sorts of fun stuff. All right, so I think that kind of brings me to the end. I hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something. Is there anybody out there that had any questions? Any further comments or questions?
No questions, Dave, right now, but that was awesome about the songs. I love that.
Cool.
Actually, I learned something, so it was like cool.
Yeah.
That was super
Yeah,
cool.
all sorts of fun stuff. Yeah, you can get involved with learning more about harmony and music theory and everything like that. But just coming up with basic ideas, it doesn't require you to know a whole lot about music. You can just basically like hunt and peck for notes and just come up with patterns on your own, and it works effectively. So there you go. What do you think, Daniel? Should I talk about the bottom notes a little bit?
If you like.
All right, let me just talk about the bottom notes just a little bit. So I made the bottom notes on these handpans. I placed them in positions where you could access them fairly easily. So, like if your left hand is on the ding here, your right hand is on the G here, or if your right hand is on the ding here, your left hand is over on the F. Same thing over here. You should be able to access that B natural fairly readily. Now, if you wanted to play these notes straight up and down, like in a scale fashion, it starts on the right hand, and again, it's all alternating hands. So right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand on the top, right hand on the bottom, left hand on the top, right, left, right, left, right, left. So once again, everything's right, left, right, left. It's alternating hands, starting on the right hand here. Right, left, right. This is the one little trick. So you go from the bottom notes to the top A here, and then to the bottom note on the front, which is the B, left, and then from then on, it's straight up the scale. But either way, you'll notice that it looks like it has a nice flow to it. So that way, when you're playing the scale, it's not all disrupting and you're not playing 2 or 3 notes with one hand and making it difficult. It's they're put in a way that, or placed in a way that makes it effortless and pretty easy to play. So I just wanted to show you that. So sometimes beginners are purchasing the instrument and they have all these notes and fun stuff to play with, but they don't know exactly what to do with it initially. So that's one simple thing you can do, is just learn how to play that scale in its entirety. And again, don't forget to move your body. It's okay to move your body from place to place, just so it makes it easy to play those notes. All right, I think that's it for today. Again, if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments, and even if you have a question after the live broadcast is done, we can answer the questions later, so feel free to comment anytime. It was great having you, those of you who are watching, and thank you so much for tuning in. I'll play a little bit now, and Daniel will probably cue me out slowly but surely, and we'll see you next time. All right, bye.